So, if you haven't caught it, I did a podcast with Mike the Rational Boomer. We recorded it on Friday. Now it's up here on Sunday, and my God, I'm listening to just checking it out, going, "Fuck, this is dated." It's amazing, huh? But still, check it out. We talk about other things before because we need to still be aware of what's going on. Epstein, the economy, elections. Please be aware. Those things still have to come to the forefront, even though now Trump has started a war to cover everything. So if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Listen to it on Spotify. Quick reminder, you can follow me here at TikTok, RJ127. I'm on Substack at Binder38US on Substack. Same for YouTube. Like and subscribe any videos you see. I also have a paid subscription on YouTube. I'm sorry, on uh, Substack. If you want to support my work, I would really appreciate it. Just subscribe on the paid side. Thank you. But I was looking through the comments, and I do that with the uh, with the whenever I do a podcast with Mike and I respond and see how people are thinking what I said. And there's one commentator in there, and you'll see it if you go back, basically taking us to task for saying, "Hey, at the end of the podcast, I'm just saying, there's still hope. As long as we get out and vote in November, we can still take back what's ours." Okay. Um, and then this guy comes onto the comments and basically, what's wrong with you? Why are you giving people a hope raid? Why are you giving people hope? There's no hope. There's got to be a better plan. All right. You're just basically lying to people. Okay. It's not going to be easy. Okay. Right now, what's going on around us is so overwhelming. I get it. It's just too much because they do that on purpose. It's literally hitting us with a fire hose every fucking day. And when you're trying to get up, they hit you again. And you feel overwhelmed. And you feel like I'm done. And there is no hope. We got to have another plan. Dude, what do you want to do? Just, blow everything up? Not going to work. Okay. And I read that and I got pissy. But the first thing that crossed my mind was the funny thing about it is they wonder why Americans are not capitulating. They're wondering why U.S. citizens are out in the streets, even in Minnesota, fighting ICE or fighting against the Trump regime or calling them out. It's because we grew up watching movies and shows depicting authoritarian government and those who fight against it. From 1976, Star Wars, The Empire, The Rebellion, okay? And then the iteration since. Andor. If you haven't seen Andor, go check out Andor on Disney Plus. Because those are people who knew it, who proceeded forward with a rebellion against a horrible authoritarian government. And what did they do it on? And if you've seen Rogue One, you've seen everything that Star Wars, the one thing, the word that keeps coming out is hope. And the one line from Rogue One I will always repeat: rebellions are built on hope. And we are in a rebellion against a government that does not give a shit about us and is now putting our soldiers on the line for an egotistical prick. We lost 3, apparently, according to Central Command. That's the beginning. And they did not, they died in service to their country, but they should not have died. And unfortunately, I'll have to disagree with Lindsey Graham. This is not a noble death. This is an unnecessary death. So, when we speak on this, when I tell everyone to hold the line, when I tell everyone we're going to go out and vote, when people go, if you can't protest, do what I'm doing, okay? That means you're still engaged. And it's painful, and you get pissed, and it's overwhelming. I mean, you don't want to open the phone up. You don't want to listen to the news. Like one creator said, you know what? I shut off the news and watched a documentary on a serial killer. I feel better. Joke, but somewhat accurate. So my point is, if you want to give up and lie down, do me a favor and do it in a corner so the rest of us can get around your body. Okay? Because I watched people in Minnesota in the middle of winter, in sub-degree weather, battle ice. 2 people lost their lives battling ice. These 2 people did it with peaceful protests. Okay, they threw rubber, you know what, at cars. I thought it was great. But they're not throwing liquid in bottles lit. People run into ice, they yell and scream because they know this is that they don't want to engage them to the point that it gives them excuses. And now protesters are going to start against this war. It already started on Saturday in front of the White House, and they're going to get bigger. Do not believe the barking seals called the Republican Party. This is not going to help them in the midterms. This is going to be an anchor in the midterms as the body count grows, as the economy takes a hit because they close off the Strait of Hormuz, when gas is $5 a gallon, where you can't get supplies, where prices go up, they can't sell it. And that's where hope comes from, because I can see the bigger picture. The immediate pain is tough, but there's going to be a bigger picture. Because the one thing in our favor is, when I was talking, is that the people in charge are fucking incompetent. And that's why everything's falling apart. Who the fuck starts a war with Iran and did not understand that they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz? Trump does. Even against the advice of his military. And yes, the military follows orders because he is the commander-in-chief. They will. But it doesn't mean that if he tells the military to come kill people on the streets of America, that they're going to follow those orders. I have hope. Rebellions are built on hope. Hell, how do you think we fucking have a country from 250 years ago? Do you think taking on the greatest empire and the greatest military at the time was a good idea? That was insane. But it was built on hope. So I'm telling you today, on this Sunday, the first day of March, in the midst of all this bullshit and pain, there is hope. Why? Because that's how America was built, on hope.